Okay, round two against Lil J. I get wow, what another die roll. This hand would be good if this was a forest, and actually even then, it'd be kind of iffy because I'd have to draw land. I'd still probably keep it, but with two mountains, I have to mulligan it. I'm gonna keep this hand. It doesn't have an accelerant, which is, as we've seen last round, pretty bad, but I can't really justify going to 5 if I have playable cards in my hand. Looks like my opponent's playing mono black. Every time they play a black Scryland, you can just assume they're on mono black. Okay, drew a forest, not the best. Because I'll just play my bow next turn and then hope to draw a mountain for dragon. This game's not looking too good for me right now. I could always draw Pelucranos or a Xenagos in the next couple turns. That would be pretty good. My opponent's playing the... So he takes my dragon, I bet. He's playing a black, red, white control deck. It's just a deck with like Thoughtseize. Oh, he took my bow. Guess he has another Thoughtseize then. Or has like some answer to my Stormbreath Dragon. Bow's not actually that good against him. His only creature is Stormbreath Dragon, and Death Touch is not particularly good. I guess he just took that because he had some other way to deal with my Stormbreath Dragon. Which makes sense, like if he's a Thoughtseize or a Murder or yeah. What's that other card I'm thinking of? Chain to the Rocks. I have no idea why that's so hard to remember. Like that gets, or Chain to the Rocks doesn't get rid of Stormbreath Dragon, but everything else does. I cannot remember Elspeth's starting loyalty. I'm pretty sure it's 4. Yeah, 4 and then -3. Okay. I drew another bow. That's cute. Pelucranos would have been like miles better, but I'll take the bow. It at least gives my creatures +1/+1 counters if I ever manage to land one. I hope my opponent doesn't have an Ember Swallower or an Elspeth, because those would put me on a clock. I do not want to be put on a clock this game. I'm pretty sure he's just waiting for me to play Stormbreath Dragon, so I could play Nylea and like do nothing, or I could force him to use his removal. I don't think forcing him to use his removal is really going to do anything. I'd rather just play Nylea. That way, if I draw a Pelucranos next turn, I could play... Obviously, I should have played the Mountain if I didn't know I was going to play Stormbreath Dragon, but my first instinct was just to play Stormbreath Dragon. So that way, if I draw Pelucranos or a Arbor Colossus or any green creature with 2 green symbols, I can swing with Nylea, and that way he has to get rid of my green creature before he gets rid of my Stormbreath Dragon. I just didn't want to play Stormbreath Dragon and have him murder it, then untap, and I have nothing on the board, and he can just play a Stormbreath Dragon and get me. I wanted to at least have like an extra thing out. Looks like he's short on lands. He bought them both times, and I drew the Pelucranos. So that's good. Now I want to play the Stormbreath Dragon, because I want him to use the removal on the... If he's missing lands, it means he has all spells in hand. So playing the dragon and making him remove it gives him less removal to remove my Pelucranos. Though he could always, of course, have Chain to the Rocks, which Pelucranos does not dodge and Stormbreath does. Yep, that's fine. Can't do anything about that. Drawing Xenagos would be incredible. Xenagos, like any Planeswalker, is just very good against a control deck. If he draws a 5th land and plays Stormbreath Dragon, I get to attack him for a lot of damage. Doesn't look like that's happening. So I'm pretty sure this is dead to another murder, because he's 7 cards and none of them are land, but yeah, we'll play it by ear. Oh wow. I could put a +1/+1 counter on this, but I don't want him to respond to it, so I'm just gonna pass. Oh, that's not how that works. I should have just put a counter on it. I was thinking he had priority first for some reason, which is not how that works. I'm very surprised he doesn't have another murder. I guess he just has a Chain to the Rocks for Pelucrinus. Like, what is his hand? Just full of Lightning Strikes and Magma Jets? He would have played Magma Jet. So I guess it's just Lightning Strikes, Chain to the Rocks, and maybe Elspeth, the Storm Breath. Okay. So he could have a lot of creatures in hand and not many Heroes Downfall, which is good for me. He could have some Chain to the Rocks, because he's going to play that now if he has it. Get rid of my Pelucrinus. And then I'm kind of drawing dry. Don't really have anything else to play. Yep, there's the Chain to the Rocks. I'm going to go ahead and put a +1 counter on my Nylea. While I still can. Opponent's playing a little slow. He's probably duo queuing. The worst thing about, well, not the worst thing, but one of the more annoying things about the moto changes is that people just duo queue like crazy, because 8-man's, you don't know when 8-man will fire, so it's pretty beneficial to just like join an 8-man queue and then just play 2-mans. Like I do it all the time. Before this event started, I was in a 2-man. I was recording the 2-man just in case I could get an extra round in before the 8-man started. But the 8-man started, so I just conceded that and deleted the recording. Because I didn't want to do a queue while I was on camera. That's really annoying and tough to follow. So any green creature, or any double green creature, is what I want to be drawing here. Oh, I drew a land. He went bottom top, and then top again. Arbor Colossus is a very good draw. So play a mountain, bow my Nylea and kill him. Okay, so I don't really think I could have played much differently that game. I could have bowed the Nylea the first time. That would have been ideal, but it doesn't end up mattering here. I just got my priority mixed up for some reason. I think I've done that more and more frequently than I used to. So he's dead with 7 cards in hand. That's gotta feel pretty bad. I always hate dying when I'm playing control deck and I have like 7 cards in hand. It's like, if this game would have lasted 3 more turns, or if I had more lands, there's like no way I could win, or no way I could lose. So against this deck, I want Peak Eruptions for sure. Magma Jet's not that good against him. I'm trying to remember what they play. Maybe I want just more creatures. Bring in a Polis Crusher. So Bow was good just because it gave me Devotion for Nylea, so I'm going to keep that in there. Though I'm considering taking it out for Mistcutter Hydras. Bow does open me up to a lot of random stuff. Yeah, I'll just play some Mistcutter Hydras. His only spells are Elspeth and Stormbreath Dragon. I don't really have a way to deal with Stormbreath Dragon. I could board in like Time to Feed to deal with it. Yeah, it's probably good enough. I could probably do that. Take out a Mistcutter Hydra for a Time to Feed. Xenagos is very good against them. Stormbreath Dragon is good. Arbor Colossus is good. Like, I just want to play a bunch of creatures, I think, since I don't really have a dedicated board to fighting control decks. And I think boarding out the Magma Jets is fine since they don't have any creatures I can get with it. I'm just using it for like a 2 damage and Scry 2 spell, which is not that good. It's like Shock You and Scry 2. Yep. Let's go with that. If he ends up having Ember Swallowers, some decks like this play Ember Swallower and some don't. If he ends up having Ember Swallowers, I'll board in the Sedge Scorpions, but as of right now, I see no reason to board in Sedge Scorpion if he's just on Stormbreath Dragon, Elspeth, and Whip of Erebus. They always play Whip of Erebus. The card's very annoying. I'm not gonna board in these Destructive Revelry and Fade into Antiquity to deal with that card Whip of Erebus because it's only like a 1 or 2 of in his deck. First off, and secondly, Polis Crusher also gets rid of it and is a creature, so don't need to board in Destructive Revelry for it. Revelry. Okay, he chose to go on the play. Obviously, the Sand's very good. It's got Xenagos and an Accelerant against him. The best Accelerant, too, the one that can't be Magma Jetted. Because he does not take Magma Jet out of his deck, even if it doesn't really get any of my creatures. It's still the off chance it gets Voyaging Satyr, and card selection is very good in this deck. Like, if he can Magma Jet a Voyaging Satyr on turn 2, it's like a huge tempo swing for him. Unfortunately, I have Sylvan Caryatid, so I'm not going to fall prey to that, or unfortunately for him. But, yeah, he's probably just going to point a Magma Jet at my face. They always do. Like, if he has it, there's no point in saving it for, like, a Voyaging Satyr. Maybe he disagrees. So he has a Murder. I'm just going to play my Polis Crusher. Yeah. Because I can't turn on Nylea next turn. Though, playing Nylea makes him waste his turn, since the only thing he can do is just scry. That way, if I draw an Arbor, I can play Arbor Colossus if I drew it. I think this is fine though. Playing Nylea. And I just hate playing creatures into open murder, like open mana like that. Because it's really free for him to just kill it and untap and do something else. Okay, I drew a Stormbreath Dragon. I'm gonna go ahead and play that. Because I want my Xenagos to live through his murdering spree. His homicidal rage. And if I draw a land next turn, I can play Voyaging Satyr and a Polis Crusher. This is dead. Okay. I figured that was the case, but I want him to use his murders before I play Xenagos, since Xenagos is the best card I can have in this matchup. It's bad against Stormbreath Dragon, but if I can ignore Stormbreath Dragon somehow, or if he just doesn't draw it, like, it's absurd. It's possible I should have just played Xenagos instead of Nylea, just for the Satyr token. I think that probably would have been better, actually. So now he takes Xenagos, and I'm left with a bunch of Voyaging Satyrs. Pulchrinus is good. I'm going to go ahead and play my Polis Crusher, and pass the turn. He murders it. What a fiend. He missed another land drop, though. Keeps missing land drops. I hope he just doesn't have more murders. That would suck. So I'm going to play Pulchrinus and a Voyaging Satyr, and hope he doesn't have another murder. Or a Magma Jet, for that matter. Oops. Because if he has a Magma Jet, he could just break my Devotion. Lightning Strike. I do not want to restart my computer right now. I'm surprised he kept a Lightning Strike against me. It only kills Voyaging Satyr. It kills nothing else. It kills Xenagos sometimes. So I can cast Xenagos +1 and play Voyaging Satyr. If he still has Lightning Strikes in his deck, I can play around Lightning Strike like that. What's my Devotion to Green? My Devotion to Green is 4 right now, right? So I can add an extra mana by doing this. So I'm gonna make a Satyr, and then play Voyaging Satyr. Satyr. The actual pronunciation is Satyr. Someone commented on that last video, and I'm like, oh, I never know how to say that. But apparently I just cannot comprehend saying Satyr. I'm going to work on it starting now. So, make a Satyr off of my Xenagos. I don't know how to say him. And then cast a Voyaging Satyr. I could have pumped up my Pelucranos, but I didn't want to pump it up and then have him murder it, since that's his prime murder target right now. And then my Nylea gets slain. Goes back to being a humble enchantment that gives my creatures trample. So I guess I'm making some satyrs and giving them trample, or giving them +2/+2. My devotion to green is 4 right now. Please, okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and pump up my Voyaging Satyr with the good old green devotion. And I'll pump him up again. Pump up another Satyr. And then he takes a bunch of damage. He's getting really mana screwed. So this is probably a Stormbreath Dragon to kill my Xenagos, since he's been holding this for like a year. Ember Swallower? Okay. That's not as good because it doesn't fly and I can kill it with Nylea. I might be able to kill him since I got 2 activations of Nylea. I could have played Voyaging Satyr there to activate Nylea. Gosh, I'm awful. But I'm pretty sure he was dead on board. I didn't do the math. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 4 is 9 damage. So yeah, he was dead. Oh. Yeah, my opponent kind of just got mana screwed both games, which sucks for him, but is honestly quite a big problem for that deck. You end up playing like a bunch of suboptimal scry cards. Like, he drew a ton of basics randomly, whereas the lists I've seen barely run any basics, because you actually just need to draw a land like almost every turn you can. Like, obviously you need to draw cards, but you need so many lands in that deck, it's crazy. And having just like a bunch of scry lands lets you look for your hero's demise or your lands or whatever like that. But he had a lot of basics. I don't know if it's like every single basic in his deck, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was. He just got kind of unfortunate. And this matchup is actually pretty good, honestly. Because Xenagos, I misplayed the first Xenagos. I should have just played Xenagos, made a Satyr. That way, even if he he murders my Xenagos, I still get Satyrs out of it. Like, I get a Satyr and start whacking him for 2 over and over. And he has to deal with that Satyr token, because his only creature is... At the time, I was assuming his only creature was Stormbreath Dragon, because most of the popular lists only play Stormbreath Dragon. Ember Swallower falling out of favor for some reason. I have no idea why. But yeah, that was definitely a mistake. Other than that, I think I'm satisfied with my play. It's pretty easy when your opponent just kind of gets mana screwed, honestly. So I'll see y'all in round 3.